All right, thank you very much for joining us. This is Taifa Dialogues on a day that is Friday. And of course, if you're following on the presidential diary, today is the day when we began national prayers for the country. Tomorrow, there will be an interfaith prayer session led by President Uhuru Kenyatta and, of course, clergy from different denominations. And this is to mean that the entire weekend will be a weekend about prayer. But of course, there are other things to talk about, including the Public Order Act that was introduced and adopted by the Cabinet yesterday. And of course, the questions of what transpired yesterday in the Cabinet are some of the things we have occurred. And this is what we'll be discussing this afternoon. My name is John Jacob Curia. Welcome to the show. And for the next 1 hour and a half or so, we'll be discussing nothing except what is going on in the country. I have Kamau who is sitting next to me for the first time in a long time, very close to me. And I also have Wanjohi and Maina Kamunya, who are also with us in studio. Very quickly, say hi so we begin. I will start with you, Kamau.
Good afternoon, viewers. Yes. Thank you, JJ, for making me sit next to you. Maybe it's going to be a good conversation.
Yes.
Thank you.
No doubt it will be. Wanjohi?
Good evening, good afternoon, viewers. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a holy weekend, and we want to suppose that by the end of this prayer week, we'll be a renewed people, and we'll be wishing that by the end of this week, all will be well in our country. It's a holy week, holy weekend in the most unholy.
What makes it holy?
Well, when things go south for this nation, we have always remembered to go down on our knees.
Okay.
Yes.
Holy weekend. Maina Kamunya, very quickly.
Thank you, JJ. And afternoon to everyone. My name is Maina Kamunya, and I'm glad to be here. May I say that I'm also the elected chairman, BBI Youth Movement, Mount Kenya region. And I'm
chairman.
Yes, I'm the chairman, Youth Caucus, Mount Kenya region. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to serve the region interest. And I'm sure as we go forward, we shall be able to talk in our language. Okay.
Hey. That was Greek, yeah?
Yeah.
So what are the interests of this region in the BBI?
So what we are talking about, and what maybe I was talking to some women and men out there, is that as we go forward, let's not fight Ruto or Raila. No. Let's first of all concentrate. Who can be able to cater for our interest, our population, our economy? You get the point? So because those are what are dear to us. No matter who becomes the president, we must always remember that none of them will come and bring food to our tables.
So in the BBI process, the interest of the region is to look for a person who will anchor your interest?
No. Yeah. That's basically wrong. We are saying, let's look for areas that will improve our lives, will address our issues, our interest in the BBI. Basically that.
So the region hasn't identified its interests just yet?
They are already there, okay, but they have not been met so far. Or even if they have been met, maybe not fully.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get off the BBI train and get to the issues of the country. And I think we'll start by the Public Order Act. Kamau. And one of them, of course, the Public Order Act has been with us, only that President Uhuru Kenyatta's government activated it the other day, obviously because of the chaos we saw in Morange and some of the political violence we're seeing in political meetings. And one of them now being that you must seek permission from the OCS, Officer Commanding Station, whose area you're visiting or under whose jurisdiction you will be visiting. One, do you support that? Do you think it's a limitation of freedom of sorts by government mandarins?
You ask whether it's freedom curtailed, yes, to people. I don't think so. These things, or this provision is in the law.
Okay.
And the government has let people do whatever they want to do in a mindset that they're going to mind about themselves and behave well. But at least I can say I'm not so excited, but at least I'm calm, because we had gone to as far as where we would go into someone's house, open and remove a packet of unga and say, because I'm in this side of political divide and you're in this, I can take your unga and not say anything. Basically, what the government did is to enhance. And one thing that people didn't note is that when Joseph Kenywa and his team stepped out at the steps of Harambe House, it was a statement, and he read very simple, put points to tell Kenyans just be mindful of the other, because basically the provision, when you look at it, it shows that be mindful of the other person, do what you're doing, but be within the law. And I think that is a simple like saying. They escalated, and one time when we started this show, I cautioned that it's going to be a very time with escalated political push and pull. And it was a bit worrying, because now the country was becoming unproductive, because every day, every other time you wake up, it's politics. So I look at it as an advantage, and just a wake up for the people who had planned to do anything that was not within the law.
All right.
Yes.
Wanjohi, the others to think this order, first of all, of course, the National Security Advisory Committee, James Kenya reads a statement, Joseph Kenya reads a statement on their behalf, and then yesterday it is adopted in cabinet. But the ambiguity of this Public Order Act, in the sense that it doesn't tell us who is supposed to seek permission from the OCS and what rank of officers, because I also think this order was actually meant to, or was directed to just one person and his troops, without due regard to his position or rank.
Thank you, JJ. It has always been the practice that when you want to hold any meeting,
Yes.
or maybe any public baraza in any place, you have to notify the authorities so that you prepare them that you plan to do A, B, C, D, and you want to achieve A, B, C, D, so that they can come on board and provide security. However, I want to question the government or the National Security Advisory Committee. Why now? Why now? We are not new to the happenings of today.
Yes.
And we know what has been happening for the last few years, that is for the last 2 years.
Yes.
That is post 2017. And we have people in government who have come out in public and declared that they will do anything humanly possible to make sure that a certain candidate, a certain individual does not ascend to power. And what I'm seeing with what Kenya did the other day is one of the many ways.
Head of public service.
Yes, the head of public service is one of the many ways of trying and taming the DP.
Okay.
And trying to kind of cut is
But Joseph Kenya is just the head of public service. Would he tame the DP? And if he was to, with the authority of whom?
Well, Kenya was speaking on behalf of some people we wouldn't mention in such a platform.
Okay.
He was sent. Yes, he was sent on behalf of the government to make what those we call the.
And don't allow Kamau to direct your answers. Just respond according to.
Yes, and kindly protect me from Kamau.
Go ahead.
Yes, Joseph was not speaking for himself. He was speaking for the government. And the reason why you can invoke the Riot Act is if we have continued activities that kind of risk national security. And if I may ask, anybody watching, any sane Kenyan, do you have activities going on that are this big of a risk to our national security? And the answer is no. So what they are basically doing, and today I want to
anything that threatens the existence, the peaceful coexistence of people, is actually a threat to national security.
Yes.
You don't think the incidents you've seen in Murang'a severally repeat themselves is a threat to security?
But some of these things are orchestrated.
Okay.
Assuming tomorrow, or maybe assuming on maybe on Sunday, when maybe Raila Odinga goes to a church, because it's fortunate that nowadays he's going to churches. Assuming on Saturday or maybe on Sunday when he goes to a church, and my friend and I go there and fight each other, is that can that be interpreted that it's a threat to national security? No.
All right. Very fair point you make. Maina Kamunya, how do you dissociate the invocation of a Public Order Act from what Wanjohi is trying to say, and probably what he didn't do is mention names? There is actually a direct sabotage of the activities of the Deputy President.
Thank you, JJ. And I disagree totally with what Wanjohi is trying to say. Because you know, and let us be frank here,
Yes.
it's very unfortunate that we are talking about these incidents 2 years to general election. In fact, I would expect this, the kind of political temperature and momentum we are having to be when we are talking about six months or 3 months to elections. But when you see a campaign that or rallies that are causing death 2 years to a general election, then it should worry everyone.
All right.
And remember, it's the responsibility of the government to ensure that none of its citizens lose a life or their property are destroyed just because of political activities. So I might say this: the invocation of that Public Act Order Act is right. It's due because its aim is to ensure that we remind Kenyans, because this is not a new act; it's been there. But the trend that we are having, political trend that we have in our current country today, it seems that most of the political prayers, and he already mentioned the DP, is forgetting that all what you have to do it within the confines of the law.
Let me ask you, this new Public Order Act, because there appears to be a new twist. Previously in the Public Order Act, what you were supposed to do is to notify the officer commanding station of a meeting, and I think several days prior to the meeting you're supposed to have, but that didn't require his consent. Now this one, it's you notify him and he must consent to the meeting.
Okay, the reason why maybe that clause is put there to ensure that he confirms, because realistically, if we may talk and be frank in this studio, we have seen defiance, right? And maybe the Security Council have noticed that even if the DP is told not to do campaigns, he will still do it. So the only way to ensure that he does not distract Kenyans from the political, from the development agenda and brainwash their minds to think politically, is to ensure that even if he plants a rally somewhere, then the OCS or the regional commander says no, then you have no authority to go
So
there.
you agree this was tailor-made for the deputy president?
Of course.
Okay.
Because what we are saying is, and I say that, and let us be frank, it's unfortunate. It's very hard to start this, to raise the political temperature to this extent.
All right.
You see what happened in Kisii, Nyamira yesterday. You see, the police came in a very calm way, and they told the public, you know what, just leave this, just leave. But after they left, then another group of MPs came. They directed these young people from the original venue they were to be, they took them to another venue. So what happened there? Okay. So the police have had to use tear gas to disperse them. So why would a member of parliament who is stationed in parliament, who makes this law, would defy an order given by the police, we knowing that they are the law enforcement agents, you defy them, and then and you want to continue with what they are telling you not to do.
All right, I would want to pick your mind both because you appear to support the Public Order Act, and probably start with Wakamau. Well, what was happening in Nyamira was happening yesterday. Obviously, the Deputy President was in a cabinet meeting. But the meeting was cancelled owing to the fact that the Joseph Kinyua committee, the advisory committee, had already invoked the Public Order Act the previous day. But while this was happening, Raila Odinga was in Kajiado, meeting women and selling the agenda of the BBI. Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua was in Lare, Meru County, conducting a series of meetings, public meetings. Why do you think these meetings were not cancelled, or the Public Order Act was not invoked on these two leaders, but on a meeting that the Deputy President was going to had to be invoked?
Because they had notified the OCS.
Come on.
And for Deputy President.
How many days is supposed? 7 days, right?
No, 3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days, and not maximum of 14 days.
And this order was invoked on Wednesday evening?
By the time they were on that step of Harambee House, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua
Had notified.
had in mind what they're supposed to do. The most defiant.
The only person who didn't have an idea of what he wanted to do
the
was
only
the Deputy
person
President.
who knows what he's supposed to do, but he does not do that, is Deputy President. Why? Because he's in the government and he can do as he wishes. Let me tell you, economically, if you look at it, yesterday he was in Nyamira, because now
He didn't go to Nyamira.
He was to go to Nyamira.
He was to go to Nyamira.
And maybe it was a day, coffee picking day yesterday. And he goes there with his people. People leave their farm to go and see him, will they pick their coffee? Will they pick their tea, or will they take their milk, the dairy? So some of these things, when you look at them economically, and they've been talking about empowerment, they are disempowering people. Because if it was a day of work, which day was yesterday?
Yesterday was Thursday.
Thursday was a working day. Then you want to go and call people on a field, women and children, to come in.
And the only person guilty of this crime is the
Let me
deputy
finish.
president. Yes.
Now, going forward, let you go and notify the OCS or the inspector at the rank, and say who the people you expect to come to your political or gathering that you have. What I'm trying to say is this. Deputy President William Ruto, earlier, President Uhuru Kenyatta advised him to stop politicking because he knew at some level he'll get himself exposed. Now he's exposed so much that no one thinks he's powerful. He cannot even tell an inspector this and do, because power is perceived or the way you look at it. So as much as people are talking about his sympathy, getting sympathy on this other side, every other Kenyan knows that this guy cannot even tell an inspector do or not to do.
Okay.
So on that note, in regard to what you're saying, comparing Alfred Mutua and Prime Minister Raila Odinga, let's be a people of law-abiding citizens. If you want to put up a meeting, please do what you're supposed to.
Actually,
as Kamunya said, notify the authority.
I would have asked you how you know that they notified the OCS in good time, owing to the fact that the notification for, or rather the Public Order Act, was invoked on Wednesday evening. But I also don't have contrary evidence.
But because
listen,
on the same
that's why I'm
meeting,
concluding
yes,
that I also don't have contrary evidence
on the same
to mean that they didn't give
the mentioned meeting,
yes,
that you said, JJ,
yes,
there was a provision of security. There were maximum security at Alfred Mutua's and Raila's. Why? Because they had notified them that they are coming. But this one comes whenever he feels, or from top, or in a chopper, and lands.
and there's still security.
Because he goes with 100 police officers in his entourage. So what do you expect?
Do you want to still hold the same argument that why Raila Odinga's meeting and Alfred Mutua's meeting went and interrupted is because they had notified the OCSs?
I don't have that evidence too, but I would say this, yeah. Maybe the police were guided by the president. Have we had a meeting or a gathering where Mutua is present and there are chaos? No. Have we had a rally where Raila Odinga is there and there are chaos? No.
Not even one.
Just let me finish.
You need to set the record. From what time are you talking about?
From handshake? No. Right? And I think I have made it very clear that they are not talking about for 2022. So the only place that we have chaos is when we have the DP. You get the point? So therefore, if I am the one in charge of police, I will be worried. I remember, DP is not just an ordinary Kenyan. In fact, when he goes to a meeting and he complains that the county commissioner was not there, the DCC was not there, the police were absent. As a Kenyan, as a law-abiding citizen, I should be worried. Because if the rights of a deputy president is a matter of national security, if that guy gets an accident or if he dies in a rally, do you think this country would not burn? It would burn. So when he goes to a rally without the county commission, without the police, he is even risking the interest of the country.
What's your point?
What I'm saying is, maybe they were guided by the president that these two guys are peaceful. Their rallies are peaceful. This man, when he goes there, it is chaos. So tunasema kwa Kiswahili ni ile unafunga ile dume ambayo ina vita sana, unafunga.
Right, fair point. Let me hear Wanjohi. You hold the same argument?
No. And maybe it's high time that I reminded my co-panelists here,
yes,
that we have different types of leaders. Leaders in church are pastors, bishops. Those in business are business mongols and others. But in politics, we have politicians, and the sole business of a politician is to politic. So whatever our politicians are doing is what they have been hired by Kenyans to do.
Are you saying politicking doesn't come with responsibility?
It comes with responsibility.
Okay.
But if you go back to our constitution, that is chapter 4, every Kenyan is entitled to freedom of association and assembly. I don't know why we are being denied such a right.
But
freedom.
assembling
Wait a
must
minute.
just a minute. Assembling must not be a threat to the national peace and security.
Wait a minute.
Just remember that.
Going forward, many a times that Baba, that is Raila Odinga, has come out to say that the BBI, which is a political process, is on a halt, is on what they say, half time. So very soon, they will kickstart their campaigns. What my friends are calling campaign. And what the DP is doing, I want to demystify that lie. It's not a campaign because we have features that characterize a campaign. One, we have vehicles moving around with posters. I've not seen that in some of these rallies.
Let's listen to the
Some of these rallies that the DP is going to. Yeah. Two, the only place that I know we have
but the fact that you have not seen any doesn't mean that they have not been there.
Well,
say you are not aware.
I'm not aware on that. But we cannot kind of generalize and say everything that the DP is doing are campaigns. Two, I need also to enlighten Kenyans and demystify a lie that has been peddled by Kamau, that the DP is being invited to attend some of these things. For example, in Nyamira, he had been invited by a Boda Sacco. It's not his business to go and ask for permission from the OCS and other the authorities. It's the business of those people inviting him to do the same. It's not the business of the
You make a very valid point, but let me take you back. What the DP is doing is not campaigning.
Yes.
Try and justify that part, because there are so many people who disagree with you.
The DP is not campaigning. Basically, what he's doing is empowerment. And I wish to encourage him to continue in the same spirit.
And where does this 2022 story come from?
Well, he has no...
And where people say loudly that the contest is now framed. It is between hustlers and dynasties.
Okay, we talk of safari ya kesho upangwa leo. That is in Swahili. So I don't see...
Ikipangwa leo, safari ya kesho ikipangwa leo si safari.
Ni safari. Na msafiri ni aliye bandarini.
You know JJ.
No, let me
make my point.
Exhaust this point. Yes.
Let me make my point. The other day, I saw Governor Mutua launching his manifesto. Manifesto for what? For 2022.
Yes.
So when Mutua does the same, it's not a problem. But when another person does the same, it's a problem.
This is the second in command.
But the bottom line is, all of these people making such declarations are politicians, and they are in power as we speak.
You see,
wait a minute.
I will give you a point to respond.
When this committee that was formed after the invocation of that public Betrayal Act, the people who were given the mandate to go in that committee, one of them is Dr. Fred Matiangi, the CS for Interior. In the recent past, there was this day they went to, I think, in Kajiado, and the CS for Health, Kagwe, was heard on national television, kind of endorsing Matiangi for presidency.
Matangi has been endorsed even in his backyard in Kisi.
Yes, and it is in this very constitution whereby we are advised that anybody in public service should be apolitical.
Okay.
So these people have seen that are seeing that the DP is making major strides toward 2022, and they will do anything humanly possible to tame him.
As you respond to that, very quickly, because it raises a very valid point, and obviously it was a point where I wanted us to venture into. We don't know what interests Fred Matiangi has towards the year 2022. What we know right now is that he's a minister in charge of Interior, but he has had endorsements, and he has appeared actually to welcome them. He's been endorsed even in a political meeting in Murang'a, probably where Kamau was attending. When he becomes a chair of such a critical committee, obviously courtesy of being the minister in charge of Interior, a person who has actually stood up and appeared to confront the deputy president direct. Does the deputy president stand a chance of ever holding a meeting procedurally going by the Public Order Act?
Allow me first of all to reiterate from what Wajay has said, and it's very, very unfortunate that you have in a panel a guy by the name of Joy who seems not to understand how politics are done in Kenya.
Tell us what you understand.
You see,
Leave him alone.
no, I can't leave him alone because he's
Tell us what you understand.
He's misguiding Kenyans. And he's just peddling rise here. He's trying to peddle propaganda.
Tell us the truth.
You see, Wajohi, let's be frank. When you tell us that the DP is not campaigning, you're just trying to Kenyans. You get the point? The DP have a manifesto to implement.
True.
You get the point? They stood in 2017. They told Kenyans that they're going to implement this, they're going to implement that. So when he's giving wheelbarrows and mikokotenis, under whose framework, under which framework? Because you see, and I've said here times and again, he is a principal assistant of the president. So whatever manifesto, whatever agenda the president have, he should be the first right hand man of the president.
Your point is the deputy president is campaigning.
Yes, he is. And you see, what I'm saying is, the reason why maybe he's fighting all this obstacle in his way, because he's forcefully doing it. I think if we have not seen a history whereby at this particular time, 2 years down the line, or 2.5 years, because we are not sure of whether we'll have the election 2022 or 2023.
Why wouldn't we?
Okay, if you do the calculations from when these guys came into power, you may probably go to 2023.
Those are arguments of a BBI. The arguments in the Constitution is that on the second Tuesday of August,
count 5 years
we
from,
shall have...
No, count 5 years from when the
argument
president...
didn't hold in 2013, Maina Kamunya. Surely, there's a precedent in court. Move on.
You need to consult your constitution.
Move on.
And do your calculation well.
Move on.
So you see, what I'm saying this, we are talking about two years down the line to come.
Yes.
You're talking of a second person in a command, but doing contrary to what the agenda of the government is. You can't expect that. Okay. And the reason why you are seeing him being tamed is because they know these guys have influence. That's one. Two, he have the authority because he is in power. That's the second one. And three, he have the system. Right? Those 8 years that's been in government.
Oh, he has the same system he's complaining against.
Of course he have.
Okay.
You get those 8 years that have been in government. I'm sure if you tell the DP to call the person representing the government in Kangema or in Madio, in Meru, he'll do that because he have been that government for 8 years.
And probably they will not pick his call because they know tomorrow they might be fired.
Some will not. And you see, these guys have also been able to divide the country into two. In every constituency, in every county, he have his brigade there. So when you're talking about this person, with the amount of influence, the amount of system we have, we can't allow him to go that route.
You're spending too much time on that point. He's campaigning, right? That's what you're holding.
He's dividing the country. He's dividing the country. And that's
I asked you a question.
Okay, Matangi is not to be the president, right?
He's not?
I'm sure he will not be the presidential candidate come 2022.
How do you know? And you say you are sure? He
does not stand the chance. Right? He can try as any other Kenyan. But his position today as a CS for Interior and his experience in government can't allow him to be the presidential candidate. He can vie, yes, as any ordinary Kenyan, but he can't be the president.
No, we're not talking about, I was not talking about him being president. The fact that he's been endorsed and he appears to be interested in it. And courtesy of a position he's holding now, the committee in charge of this adherence to the Public Order Act, and obviously owing to his demeanor or their relationship with the deputy president. I think you saw him on TV the other day say, being asked what is his relationship with the deputy president, and he said he can't comment on that. Does the deputy president stand a chance to hold a procedural meeting?
You see, even if I was Matiangi, I would still say the same. For one reason, I'm the one in charge of the national security. If this country goes down to those separate parts, who do we blame? He will be the first person as we blame the president. Can I ask you a question? When you had the ICC guys, why was Major General Ari there? Because he was in charge of the police. You remember? So Matiangi must have that sour relationship with the deputy president because he's returning his job.
I did not ask about the relationship.
I'm saying he can't allow the DP to do the campaigns because he knows he is a threat to his job.
So that means you are telling us that any meeting that Matiangi will sit on and is deliberating on any meeting the deputy president plans to have, it will not go through.
No. The DP was in the cabinet yesterday.
Yes.
When those were being passed. I'm sure if he had his own reservations, he would have raised them there.
We'll talk about the cabinet meeting.
You see,
I asked a very specific question. I don't know why you are avoiding to answer that question. Fred Matiangi is the chair of this committee that is supposed to vet all these requests to hold meetings. We know his public position in regard to how him and the deputy president relate. And I'm asking, does the deputy president stand a chance to have a procedural meeting
Of course,
when
yes.
Matiangi is the chair?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Of course, yes. He's a Kenyan and he's entitled to no benefit of the law. You get the point? But he'll be tamed when he seems to be a threat to the national security.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kamau, do you hold the same? Fred Matiangi is not a threat to deputy president meetings as long as he's the chair of this committee that is in charge of the Public Order Act?
No, he's not.
Okay.
What Deputy President William Ruto needs to do is to know how to negotiate with other men.
Okay.
By that I mean, every law that is put or regulation or provisions are subject to human. And if Matiangi is the internal security, yes, there is a way he can negotiate with him, have a cup of tea, and explain himself that he can be understood. The reason why all these provisions are being made there, and my brother Wanjoy, William Ruto is still a civil servant or public servant, so he's also not allowed to go and do politics. If Matiangi can't do politics, then William Ruto is not supposed to do. And that is why President Uhuru Kenyatta, on the onset, he said, let's first work.
Okay.
And it is easy if I was to advise Deputy President, because now I am where I wanted us to be, like I told you earlier. Let him sit down with these men. Where they take tea or where they take their beer, let him go there. Talk to these men, tell them, man, there is somewhere I want to. We always get interaction through this. But if he wants to push himself into ways that is not understand, these men cannot understand, these men are going to push him to the last point, and he may not get to where he wanted to go, because this is all human relation.
Yes.
Even doing politics and going to empower other people is because he wants to increase his human relation, that these people might understand him and may give him a chance to rule this nation.
Okay.
Yes.
The Invocation of the Public Order Act, Wanjohi, because there's a number of people who have a problem, and probably because I come from the media fraternity. There's something that Joseph Kinyo mentioned about monitoring of social media content and mainstream media content in regards to the stuff they are churning. And of course, it sounds like a very colorful statement, but they also think this could be a return to dark days where you want to emasculate free space.
Well, before I answer that question, JJ, I need to put something into perspective.
Yes.
That the DP can campaign, but the CS cannot. Why? One, the DP is a DP as a result of a direct political process, but the CS is not. When we ushered in the 2010 Constitution, it brought a new constitutional dispensation whereby we saw it fit to depoliticize the cabinet. That is why you have technocrats sitting as CSs.
And politicians also.
But the main idea was to have
purely technical.
Yes.
Yes.
The cabinet was supposed to be apolitical. But the DP and the president and the entire maybe executive, no, the DP and the president are as a result of a political processes. So they are politicians and they can politic. So they can go ahead and campaign within the confines of the law. Back to your question. Kinyo was in order to do as he did, in as much in ordering that we should kind of try and sieve what we kind of relay to the public. Many a times that we have people maybe managing our WhatsApp groups were also outlined, the mass media. We need to know that some of these things are in this new world where technology is a very strong tool, can play a very vital role, and a negative one for that matter, in either bringing positivity in a nation or negativity. We need also to remember that in 2017 we had this company called Cambridge Analytica, and it was kind of questioned for its role in the 2017 election. It emerged in most of these petitions that it was one of the companies that influenced the way people voted in 2017. So we need not underscore the weight of the social media and the media It's a very powerful tool, and if misused, it can be used to take us back to the Rwanda days. Basically, it can be used to kind of bring animosity in our country.
All right.
And I want to laud Kenya for taking, and the entire committee, the entire security committee, for going that route.
All right.
Yes.
Maina Kamunya, obviously, nobody downplays the role of the media in fueling chaos, because actually the media takes the central role in spreading the chaos we saw in 2007. It actually stands in the dock in terms of the role it played in terms of fueling chaos. But we've also walked a path where the government wants to use the media as a scapegoat for its ineffectiveness to contain passions in a country. And of course, so during the swearing in of somebody like Raila Odinga, when he saw himself as the people's president, and the government regarded that as a threat to national security and switched off 3 major media outlets in the country. And this appears like it's a path we've walked already. And this sounds like a drumbeat of signs of where we've come from.
I think they are very much aware of the history.
Yes.
And these provisions, maybe what they are coming up with is a result of what maybe they have seen. Because if you know, revolutions worldwide, the major player is the media.
They are broadcasted.
They are broadcasted.
Yes.
The most powerful tool to ensure that the country is united, the country is peaceful, is the media. Also, the tool that can be used to destroy a country within minutes or within days is the media. So what I'm saying is, maybe they have seen and they have realized, because we are headed to a very delicate situation ahead of us. The BBI is coming, the referendum. You get the point? So, and we are very much aware that 2005, we had a very divisive referendum that was a recipe for the 2007, 2008 post-election violence. So, and I think they are very cautious of that, because maybe they are foreseeing a situation whereby, even if we have this referendum with the intention of building the country and having an inclusive nation, maybe there will be a section of readers who will feel, no, we are not part of this game, and maybe they want to divert from it.
So what you're saying is that the government is already admitting volatility. What it doesn't want the media to do is to amplify the volatility.
No.
Yes.
What they are doing is ensure that they in case of we get to that route, it's already mitigated.
Okay.
Because you see, like last night I was having a story, I sort of what happened in Moranga, and one of the local stations of the Kikuyu vernacular stations, one of the panelists, your co-journalist Michael Jenga, was to have a show with Dede Nyoro and Sabina Wajiro Shege, but because of the interest of the county, then they pulled
that poster was denied by the respective media.
You see, so it was denied, but immediately it was denied. There was a section of young people who went on Facebook, they created a page, and they posted those stuff there. And I'm telling you, they sorted the journalist, Michael Jenga, and what he did, he reported. And those guys are arrested. They were arrested yesterday during the day. And you see, there were, in fact, what shocked many is that there were just 3 guys. They were paid 3,000 each, and the oldest is 21 years. You get the point? They were arrested. They were taken to the police. They were given the police board of 20,000 each. They can't pay, so they're still in cell.
They're still in
so
cell.
What I'm saying is, we know how powerful the media can be. And we know if it is not checked, it can bring this nation to the grave.
All right.
So that I think the government is very much aware of that fact, and they're going to mitigate and ensure that we don't get to that path again.
All right.
Yeah.
I want us to get to yesterday's cabinet meeting. Kamau. The Daily Nation reports that yesterday's cabinet meeting was very stormy. Obviously, this Public Order Act was being considered by the cabinet and was adopted yesterday. And yesterday is that day that you wish you were a fly or a rat in State House, so you would have heard exactly what happened in that cabinet meeting. But there's no doubt there was pressure on the deputy president. Kamau.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Unless he created it himself. It was just a cabinet meeting, and there's nothing unusual that was to discuss. Only the endorsement of these provisions into going to a political gathering or having a meeting, which is not stormy. After all, it was a reminder of the things that are there in the law.
You don't think he was in an awkward position?
I don't think there is there was anything unusual in that meeting or stormy. Because if cabinet meets and it's the president who calls in for the cabinet meeting, you sit there, endorse, participate. But why as a person would you make it stormy? What do you want to draw from it? I remember this PLO Lumumba.
Yes.
In another channel, he was cautioning on people who want things so much, and those people who they feel entitled. Whenever a meeting is called, let's say a panelist like this, if I feel entitled, it is a point of resentment. If I don't get what I want in this panelist, I probably may resent and maybe stormy, right? But if I know that I expect nothing, but what I get, I'll just be calm and given me my chance. Even in the cabinet meetings, let's not try to make mountains out of molehills, because there's Nani, Deputy President William Ruto has all the chance to wait and participate in cabinet meetings, and it will make as calm as it can be. Okay. So for me, I think unless
it was just a cool meeting.
No, it can't be.
No, I'm saying I'm going there. Unless he was not satisfied on the outcome of the meeting, then he went out reporting or telling his people it was stormy. But I don't hear any other cabinet secretary saying it was stormy. So I don't know where that is coming from.
Obviously.
But it was reported in the news. Probably is him because of what he's entitled to get.
Yes.
Or the attention he thought he would get, he didn't get. Those are why probably he turned up, maybe throwing tantrums because of the meeting or something like that.
Let me give you something. Because obviously Daily Nation was quoting sources from the cabinet. Obviously it was not the deputy president.
Yes.
But while still what was happening in Kisii, the deputy president tweeted after consultations with MPs Kemosi, Mose, Nyamuko, the Bodaboda Sacco and church leadership who had invited us, we have postponed the two functions in Nyamira County to Thursday next week. The disruptive dispersal by police of Kenyans engaged in economic empowerment is unnecessary. A few minutes later, he writes, we have agreed with DG Matangi. Remember, the Kemosi Mose Nyamoko was in Nyamira County. DG Matangi is from Kisii. He had a function in Kisii also. And he says, we have agreed with DG Matangi, MPs Miruka and Osoro, to postpone the Ogambo Youth and Kenyanya Women Empowerment Program from tomorrow to Friday next week. Church building, Bodaboda Sacco, Women's Sacco, and youth empowerment drives, just like Kazim Taani, is development, not politics. This is the personal opinion of the deputy president.
Yes.
You don't think he raised ruckus in that cabinet meeting to protest against the public order?
That particular sentiment he has cannot appear in a cabinet meeting.
What do you mean?
There is nothing you'll go talk about wheelbarrows and Kokoteni in a cabinet meeting. That is a policy meeting, which entails to all youth, women, old men.
No, I'm not talking about the wheelbarrows.
Wait a minute.
Come out.
No, I'm not. I'm giving an example so that it gets in your mind to know that such things that he's writing on his tutor, whatever they call it, cannot sit on a cabinet meeting. In fact,
But you see,
Hold on.
his arrangement with the DG and what he's telling us in public and what he wants us to feel or know is looking for sympathy on this.
Yesterday,
Yes.
the cabinet set, other than the other policy issues, because there are several other issues the cabinet adopted, but one of them was the Public Order Act.
Yes.
And obviously they had a discussion because it was not the president telling them this is what we are doing. In cabinet, they discuss.
Yes.
You don't think the deputy president raised his opposition to the Public Order Act?
Why it is in the law, which actually is saying we should not change this constitution. Number one. Number two,
It is not in the constitution.
He is
This
in
is
the
a statutory
Wait
law.
a minute. He sits in the cabinet meeting. He's a deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. If the president himself being the number one and deputy president being number two and other included cabinet secretaries, if every other person is comfortable with what was happening in the meeting, why is it for
But
him?
you see, Kamau, just a minute. Let me
Give me time.
Let me do something.
Give me time.
The DP and the other.
Allow him to finish so
Yeah.
he can respond.
Yeah, he will respond to this thing. The deputy president, where does he want to go? We start from there. If the cabinet says on this particular time next Friday we will be Nyamira, all of us, that will add on him. But he can't wait for that until he makes the meeting to be stormy.
No.
What am I saying? In the eyes of consumers of his information, and does not start now. If you read the history in the book of Habakkuk, he was complaining of public disorder, people who could not obey, people who could not even obey the orders of the government of the day. That is where the situation is. Those people
But you
who-
see, JJ,
those
Your
people who
response,
read,
respond to Kamau. Very
wait a
quickly.
minute.
Yeah,
Those people who read,
come on, just a minute. Just a minute. Just a
Nani,
minute, Kamau. Because
Kamunya,
you see,
Kamau, wait.
Kamunya,
Because
Kamunya,
you
wait,
remembered-
wait,
you
wait,
remembered your
wait.
point.
no,
Sorry.
Wait, come on.
it is my point, and
No, just a
I want
minute.
to finish. I
Very
have not
quickly.
put.
Very
Yes,
quickly.
if he puts this information out there, and he puts in his Twitter handle, in Facebook, and everything, he's actually inciting Kenyans.
You're simply saying the
1
meeting
minute
was
in
not
the social
stormy.
media, he will incite Kenyans, and that will be the end of it.
The meeting was not stormy, according to you.
It was not.
you see, JJ, what was the main agenda of the cabinet meeting yesterday? We start from there.
Do you know
Yes.
which was?
It was about the Public Act Order. That's what makes it agenda.
Yes.
And we must know that when the cabinet sit down, obviously they must have an overview. What happened so that we get where we are today. It's order. When I'm the chairman of a meeting, when you're coming to give an agenda, of course you have to have an overview. Why are you getting there? Why are you discussing? I'm sure the deputy president was not at ease. The boss was there. He had been previously in Muranga where two people lost their lives in a country where is the DP. You get the point? Where there were chaos there. You get the point? What we were saying, I'm sure the meeting was...
And you also have a number of cabinet secretaries opposed to his ambition.
Of course.
Is
The DP is in the cabinet following his own ambitions as a one man.
drop from that
Just a
cabinet
minute.
and go do
We shall talk about that.
Allow me-
You're running ahead of yourself.
I don't mean to make my point.
Yes.
You see, he is in that cabinet having his own ambitions alone. All the other members of the cabinet, including the president, have an agenda of development. And that's why we are saying he must not, even those what we are, he was tweeting there, is a matter of revenge. If you read the spirit of those tweeters, he's just revenging because he knows that Kenyans do not have the benefit of being in the cabinet. No,
He was trying to tell us what he said in the cabinet.
of course, as a revenge, because he cannot tell us
He's
the
just
truth.
a single man.
He
in
cannot
that
tell us the
cabinet
truth.
of
He
many men.
just a minute, come out. He cannot tell us the truth that during the cabinet, maybe he was isolated. He felt dishappy because of the discussion. Because I'm sure he was to blame for all those things.
All right.
Huh?
Something I wanted to move to enjoy. At least you're saying the meeting was stormy. Kamau
course.
doesn't agree the meeting was stormy.
Because of one person.
Hold on a minute.
Because of one person,
Hold on a
JJ.
minute. Whether
The meeting cannot be stormy because of one single
It's not
guy.
your time. Let me throw this to Anjohi. Immediately, the Daily Nation released their headline because the headline of the Daily Nation today was storming cabinet. Ruto told to quit. We'll get to the quit part. But the deputy president tweeted, quoting that headline, cabinet secretaries challenging who to do what? Hii itumiwe kufunga matumbo na mara. That was the deputy president's classic response. Maybe probably Kamau was right. There was no storm in the meeting anyway.
There was a time sometimes back when the newspapers wrote some things about the president, and there came the phrase by the president that hii kitu ni ya kufunga nyama.
So he copied.
Maybe he did. For a long time, for anybody in the media doing for newspapers and print media and the other media, this being a business, you need catchy headlines to sell. So when there was a time back when the newspaper headlines read that the DP is an isolated man.
Isn't he?
And of course he is.
Maybe he is, maybe he's not. When you collect all these headlines,
Yes.
But
there was this day the DP did say that because newspapers are selling courtesy of his name, he is entitled to something small from these companies. Away from that, when you convene a cabinet and you have all these men seated and ladies, and you have agendas, you are here to discuss. And in a discussion, the expectation is we have people who will agree, others will disagree, but at the end of the day, you must arrive to some consensus. And they did. And after they kind of adopted the Riot Act, the DP saw it fit to cancel the two scheduled meetings for next week on Thursday.
Saw it fit or was informed of the situation in the ground?
He saw it fit. As a law-abiding citizen, he saw it fit
you
to
know,
postpone the wait a minute, Kamunya, wait a minute. To postpone the meetings
even
for
before,
Thursday.
even before the
Hold
cabinet
on,
was
Kamunya.
over.
He did reschedule the meeting for Thursday and Friday.
If we'll get the permission or license to.
Yes.
But
That is-
but
wait a minute.
Mind Kamanya, hold on.
Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Clearly, he has many.
He saw it fit as a law-abiding citizen and a role model.
No.
He saw it fit to reschedule the two meetings. We need also remember that after the incidents in Kenya,
Even before,
the DP came out.
even before he cancelled the meeting,
Kamunya.
the public in the Nyamira were already dispersed by the police. Even before the cabinet meeting was over, the people in Nyamira had already been dispersed by the police. So it was not about cancelling the meeting. The meeting had already been cancelled by the police.
But
So don't stop praying to Kenyans.
the meeting was scheduled before this cabinet meeting.
But you'll also understand there was a number of people adamant on the ground that they are waiting for him still.
Yes.
Of course, you expected that because they are paid handouts.
Go ahead.
Kamunya
Is the handout a handout giver in chief?
he should come out clean and explain some of these things.
Make your
to
point very
Kenyans.
quickly because we need to move on.
One, I wanted, you have even made me to lose my.
He cancelled his meeting because he was patriotic.
He was, as a law-abiding citizen and as a role model, bearing in mind that he did come out and clean and kind of condemned the violence in Kenya.
He gave up.
He didn't give up. That is why he rescheduled the meeting for Thursday and Friday.
Alright.
So coming Thursday and Friday, before then, the two groups that had invited the DP will follow the guidelines, go to the OCS, get
tell
the
us,
permit, and the meeting will continue.
There was a tweet by the JJ there that even Kazi Mutani
by me or by the deputy
by the DP,
Yes.
that
I read his tweet. It's not
you read his tweet, that Kazi Mutani bado ni kazi. You get the point? So
No, he says what he's doing
it's
as
empowerment.
Mtaani
The same.
are almost similar.
it tells you who is doing Kazi Mutani.
Government.
The government. So he's
He's
complete.
running a parallel process.
That is it. And that's why I said, if you got my point clear,
Yes.
the DP is completely defiant of the president.
Okay.
You get the, and that's why we are saying he's trying to revenge or compete with the government
Alright.
in which he is in. You get the point? So stop trying to Kenya,
But
my
we have
friend.
individuals who run NGOs and they do the same.
Yes, but they are not in government.
Do you want to say that, for example,
Tell him to resign.
No, no,
all of you, what you're doing, all of you are guiding us now to the next phase of question, which we must now ask ourselves, come out, because you see, the Daily Nation appears to say, or rather from its sources, the meeting was stormy, though you disagree. And much of a push was on the deputy president. Guy, if you don't feel satisfied in this government, you need to quit. Do you think quitting of the deputy president probably would bring some semblance of order in President Uhuru Kenyatta's government? Because now it looks like it's a house of confusion.
Deputy president won't quit, but he'll be impeached. That I've maintained since day one. And actually, I'm happy.
When will this impeachment come? Because the last time you were here, you told us by next month he will be impeached.
You've seen the evidence of him that he can't hold a meeting on the ground. Okay? And I started, and Kamunya was the first person to say it was next to impossible. I'm happy now. He has seen like there's a government that can work.
No.
Now, what is going to happen is he's trying. He will try to force himself, even when he's not given provision to hold meetings. And
Obviously, that appears like it's something you will defy.
he will.
Yes.
He will. As deputy president and his advisors, Akina Didi Nyoro, Akina Alice, Akina that Mugirango, I don't know what guy called, and Akina Sudi, he will defy. And when he defies, the tear gases and the rollies he procured in the government will rain on him. And that is the point that will defy completely. And at the time, the parliament will sit down and say, this guy is a threat to the national security. And they will sit down, they will impeach him outright.
So you think no matter the pressure, the deputy president is not going to quit? The only way is to force him out.
Deputy president was advised by the president, and he was told to hold his horses like Wanjo is telling Kamunya.
And he defied that.
He defied. And he said, he was told, wacha tufanye kazi kwanza. Mimi nitakuwa wa kwanza kufanyia campaign. Now, as we sit here, Deputy President of Republic of Kenya, he is exposed. He doesn't have a friend in the government who can protect him. And when the National Security
Advisory Committee.
Yes, sits, does none of the people who sit there seems to support him.
Right.
Now that means that power that he used to go with wherever he used to go, he doesn't have it anymore. And the next thing will be his security. And I had someone talking about the renovation of Karen House. It's about to be renovated. That security that he works with is going
Which
to
technically
be cut.
would send him back to his
To his no, not Sugoi. He has a residence in Nairobi.
In
So
Karen.
that is why he will be meeting those young and old, giving them kokotenis, and he can run his government. At that point, he will have been exposed, and the government won't provide the security. that is
Wanjohi,
needed.
should the deputy president quit? Looking at President Uhuru Kenyatta's cabinet, it looks like the only thing they discuss probably is bitterness every single cabinet meeting. Do you think the deputy president's quitting would bring some semblance of order?
The DP should not quit.
Should do what?
I've never seen in a scenario where the tenant smokes out the landlord. Never happens.
It has happened.
Maybe in your village.
You should
No,
ask. You should go to Kibera.
I got Kibera.
Not
You know,
yes.
got Kibera. Got Kibera.
Tenants in a sane environment,
Yeah.
in a sane society, can never smoke out the landlord.
In a sense, where?
In a sane scenario.
What is saying about what is happening in cabinet?
The thing is,
You're no longer saying.
the DP is not a kind of a visitor in government. He's one person who played a very vital role in forming this government. And to a larger extent, he shares half of the government. So there's no way you expect...
Not today, not today.
Wait a minute, Kamunya. Hold your horses. Did you have lunch?
Of course.
Oh, you did.
In Maina Kamunya, I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do to Maina Kamunya. You're becoming unruly. Go ahead.
So there's no way we expect that the DP to leave his own children and run away.
Let me ask you,
That is
because
what the
what
coward
you're trying
did.
to tell us is something, is a story we've had.
Okay.
He shares half of a cabinet, he's powerful, he's the deputy president, which is fine. But this is the deputy president who appears to be going against the policies of the very government he's serving in. Then what is he doing in a government he doesn't believe in?
One, all those things you did say are assumptions that we make.
Are they?
Not even a single day did I hear the president complain about his DP. Not even a single day.
No, my
Wait a
friend.
minute, Kamunya.
Maina Kamunya, when you have alternative facts, you wait for him to finish and then you'll give your alternative facts. Go ahead. The president has not complained about his deputy?
Yes.
Are
Secondly,
you sure?
I'm very sure. I've been here, I've been around.
So what you needed to hear the president was you needed to hear him directly mention the deputy president.
Yes.
And you have not heard that.
I have not had that.
Fair enough.
And I'm still waiting.
Okay.
Two, the president, being this witty politician that we have known for years, will read the consequences of getting rid of this man. So we cannot sit here and assume that the president will have his DP impeached. He has to weigh the consequences.
You're even struggling to explain what you're saying.
That's why I'm.
No, the thing is,
that's why I'm impatient.
Hold on, you must
hold
be
your
patient.
horses. Hold your horses.
I'll show you where to take your impatience.
Kabunya. The DP, the president, being the genius he is in politics, as some people brand him, he kind of has to
Clearly,
weigh.
you don't believe it. It's
Why does he,
Hold on
the
a minute.
deputy, have
In
to
fact,
turn
I
on
wanted. In
President
fact,
Uhuru
I wanted.
Kenyatta? Can he move on his own?
Kamau,
Who, the
Kamau.
DP?
Maina,
Can you
Wanjohi,
protect me?
I want to give you. I am protecting you, but as I
Yes.
protect you, kindly protect yourself with your argument.
Yes.
We have agreed with DG Mangi, MPs Miruka and Osoro to postpone the Ogambo Youth and Kenyanya women empowerment programs from tomorrow to Friday next week. Church building, Boda Boda, Sako, Women Sako and Youth Empowerment drives, just like Kazim Tani, is development, not politics. Let us not even bring the argument about Kazim Tani. This was the deputy president tweeting immediately after the cabinet had
meeting.
adopted
Yes.
the Public Order Act. And in the cabinet is a doctrine called collective responsibility. When the deputy president is not bound by collective responsibility, what are you doing in that government?
Step aside.
Well, I need to draw you back to what was in the act. And one thing that stands out in the act is that before you organize in a meeting, you have to inform the authorities, and if the meeting is okayed, you can proceed.
Just allow me to
Hold on.
Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Yes.
It's for a long time, since we adopted this constitution, most of the roles that the DP performs are delegated by the president.
It has been even in the other constitution, so it's not new thing.
Yes.
Which constitution?
The current constitution, most of the functions that the DP undertakes are delegated by the president. And it's on record, and the DP is on record saying that none of the duties he was given are still pending.
Let me give you another example, because there's something I want us to move away from. Let's even remove the Ogembo incident yesterday. When you're giving out wheelbarrows and mkokotenis, for whatever reason, empowerment, as you know, one would argue about it, and then you write that the conversation has shifted, the contest has been framed, that 2022 will be about empowerment. Aren't you actually spiting your boss, telling him you have failed in terms of empowerment, or the government that I serve under has failed in terms of empowering the youth? So I'm trying to run my own parallel government or a parallel system that will empower the youth. And the question is, why don't you just quit and go empower them with wheelbarrows or whatever, and not be in the same government that you're accusing of failing to empower the youth?
But at least he acknowledged that Kazi Mtaani is an empowerment project.
As a comparison.
You see, JJ.
He did acknowledge
That was
that
comparative. That's a comparative. Like Kamau argues, it was
the
comparative.
reason why he did that is because we have people who are branding his activities as campaign. But he wants to demystify all those lies and liken the same to Kazi Mtaani.
So he should stay put, according to you.
Yes,
in
he
government.
should. He should.
All right, make your point.
Okay, personally, I would disagree with Wajohi here. And
Are you struggling to disagree with him?
no,
Okay.
Wajohi need to understand.
Make your point.
Wajohi need to understand one thing. Because he's trying to a Kenyans. He's trying to pray PR here. Let me get right. And
Struggling to
Do we need to take a break?
let me tell him this
Make
way.
your point. Make this
And tell Takataka brigade this way. They have never seen an ugly situation as when the DP will resign or get impeached. The privilege he enjoys today, all of them regret.
Yes.
You get the point? And they must take this information to him. That the platform he has today,
To who? To Anjohi?
to the deputy president.
Okay.
Because the platform he enjoys today is a courtesy of the government he serves in. And I'm telling you, when he resigns, he'll become so vulnerable and so delicate to the authorities. You get the point? It will not be as normal as it is today. You get the point? As we are speaking today. So I want to tell these guys, don't even try to imagine what would happen when the DP will be impeached. You get the point? So what I will tell the DP is this. Personally, I foresee a situation whereby he will be impeached.
Okay.
You get? And it's coming. In a way, politician would see that. It's forthcoming. Because what will happen, you can't sit in the government, in the cabinet, you're making decision to run the country, then immediately you leave that cabinet, then you start doing contrary to what you have agreed.
But this is not the first time we've seen that. We've seen the Raila Kibaki cabinet had
But you see, we are talking of a new constitution dispensation.
where we have a president and deputy.
He can't be sacked.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I agree with what Kamau has said. If you're in the old constitution era, the DP would have been
would
sacked
have been fired already.
long time ago. But today, because he knows that he can't be fired, that's when he have that energy, he have that confidence to target the
You're a lawyer. Let's go to the intricacies of impeachment. How possible or easy is it?
It is
to impeach
because
the deputy
they just cite the gross misconduct or gross violation of the law or gross misconduct. That would be gross
And the
insubordination.
impeachment of the deputy president emanates from.
Yes.
Yes,
from the-
it will feature that gross misconduct, and that is not enough to impeach him.
Of course, you can bring any charges and fit them into gross misconduct and
Yes.
still fit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the requisite, the threshold.
It will.
the numbers.
Bearing in mind.
Is it possible to get two
Oh yes,
of MPs
oh
to
yes,
impeach the deputy president?
very easy. Bearing in mind, come Central Kenya, how many MP does he have? Muranga only 2. Kiambu, I think in 1. So what about the rest? I'm telling you, if that motion was tabled in Parliament today, before one.
Are you going to narrow down a whole conversation about a country to Kiambu and Muranga?
I'm saying, I'm just giving you a sample. If we are talking about Muranga and Kiambu, those are two counties, and maybe you have a probably MP supporting me are 4 out of how many? You get, what I'm saying is, get that bigger picture. If that motion was tabled in Parliament tomorrow, before 1 week or 2 weeks are done, he'll be impeached. Take that to the bank. He will be impeached.
Okay.
You get the point? Because the spirit of handshakes have united the both houses.
All of you agree that the deputy president doesn't have balls to quit.
Personally, he will not quit because if he quits, then he makes himself vulnerable.
So he will have to wait for him to be forced out.
Of course, true. He can't quit. If he quits, even if he's agreed, he can't quit. Because if he quits, then things will become so difficult for him.
All right.
Yeah.
There's one more question to ask probably, and this is the role of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Is it possible to purely abrogate or take the blame directly to the deputy president's door and leave out President Uhuru Kenyatta in terms of his leadership and steering of the cabinet and his party? That probably, if he took up leadership, we wouldn't be where we are today. Does he have a chance to stop this madness without costing anybody? Is it possible to redirect the narrative when the president is on the wheel?
The governments that we have had, they've not been so, we say, successful in terms of giving us what we want, roads, education. We are not where we wanted to be. The President Uhuru Kenyatta's government is not going to get us where we want to be because we'll have to have government this, government the other, in terms of maybe 5 years, okay? What Deputy President could have done, he could have worked along the President Uhuru Kenyatta, and where President Uhuru Kenyatta will get, then William Ruto, probably then, if the situation is different, he could have presented himself to us and tell us, President Kenyatta has come till this far, and I can take you with the help of this and that to the next.
Allow me to ask you a supplementary question.
Let me finish.
I understand where you're headed.
Let me finish this
before you
statement.
finish. Let me
For
ask you a
the
supplementary
sake of the
question.
viewers,
quickly.
yes.
Yeah.
Now, what he has done, he has jumped fence.
Who?
The deputy president.
Okay.
He's on the other side pointing finger at President Uhuru's agenda, saying it is, as President Uhuru Kenyatta moves this way, this guy has jumped on this other side of the fence and is running with him, pointing finger at him. That's what
So you're saying the relationship cannot be salvaged?
between President Uhuru Kenyatta and William
his
Ruto.
deputy.
The relationship between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto is done.
It's finished.
Totally done and finished.
Finito.
Finito.
Let me ask you a question. And I'm still referring to the president.
Yes.
For a person who worked with the president in 2002, when President Uhuru Kenyatta was running for the first time as president, in fact, if you ask so many of their political friends, even when they were on opposite sides during the 2007 election, they still were buddies or friends. And then come the 2013 and 2017 elections. Are you trying to tell me that for people who've been buddies and friends for that long, there's nothing the president would do to salvage this confusion? Or that, not to salvage the
President
confusion,
Uhuru Kenyatta has
to
been,
salvage the image of his
President Uhuru
administration.
Kenyatta
Yes.
has been very consistent in his doing. When he ran for presidency in 2002, he conceded defeat.
Yes.
The country was calm. In 2007, after he joined, before he joined Mwai Kibaki, till 2013. So he has been very consistent. And for William Ruto, with all due respect, for him, it was not because he was a good buddy to Uhuru Kenyatta and the KANU fraternity. It's because he was looking for the opportunity for him to go to the next, as President Uhuru has done and has achieved his goals. The ambition that President Uhuru Kenyatta had, he measured it. He measured that ambition to the step of being considered as to the Mount Kenya kingpin after Mwai Kibaki, right? William Ruto has seen it fit to jump over and want to block President Uhuru Kenyatta's delivery so that he can see him as a man to be considered. Let me tell you, when you're my good friend, and when we work together, then on the other side, you're backstabbing on me. As a friend, it is going to be a depart from that point, from even a person I've met last year. What I'm saying is this: William Ruto was brought in 1992 by Moi's family.
Moi.
All right, and when he was raised up by them, he was put in the cabinet, in member of parliament for
Eldoret North.
Eldoret North. He
That
was
is in
given
97.
his startup, his wealth he has built through the Moi's family, and when it came to a time to hit back, he hit President Moi's family badly. They cannot see eye to eye. Someone who brought him from the poverty, as he says, put him in whatever you want to call it, dynasty or whatever. I don't want to use those because the bishop told us not to be using those. The family show this guy how to be and what to do.
But Moi was
and
not
to
running
go.
a discipleship.
Let
Was
me
he
tell
bound to
you,
be
let me
loyal
tell you,
the
it
whole
is,
time?
it is upon me now where I sit now, because I see Kamunya is coming in and it's coming in very fast. It's upon me to even give him my seat so that
All
I
right.
can go to the next.
All right.
Number
Yes.
two,
Yes.
wait a minute.
Very quickly.
Now, when he was given cabinet slot by Prime Minister Raila Odinga, agriculture, higher education, and what? Before they end that, he told Raila Odinga, who gave him a cabinet in consideration, you are not the appointing authority. And he went against Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga today, having given William Ruto a seat in cabinet, they cannot see eye to eye. Uhuru Kenyatta, after considering all other factors, he told, after even being accused separately of the things they do in ICC, Uhuru Kenyatta called in Ruto and told him, come we work for Kenya together.
That was a marriage of convenience.
Exactly. For him, wanting to be, after 2022, the president, what could have done is to negotiate with these people cunningly enough to get to the 2022 and become the president.
Right.
What did he do? He went against...
You said he jumped to the fence.
He jumped the fence, and now he's pointing at President Hood saying that is a bad man.
Okay.
Right.
Wanjohi, the others think probably even the deputy president's reaction was because the president, and I think you heard him in an interview say, there are people in this government who've been uncomfortable with me from the word go, from when the Jubilee administration came into power. And probably those who support the deputy president think it is actually the president who short-circuited the deputy president first.
Yes. And whatever is happening today, JJ,
Yes.
is something that had happened way back in 1978, 79. With the passing of the founding father, Jomo Kenyatta, we had forces in government that tried anything they could to make sure that Moi didn't kind of ascend to the throne. And that is the same situation happening today. Come to 2013, as you rightly put it, the joint ticket of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto was by and large what we would call a marriage of convenience. What these people did, they came together because they were joined together by the ICC case, and using that, guys, they will kind of whip emotions and ascend to power to run away from the ICC case.
Yes.
However, after 2017, the president realized that the DP is a spent cartridge. And now he wanted to forge a new political alliance. And I want to address Kenyans and aspiring politicians. There's nothing to write home about what the president is doing politically. We are kind of setting a precedence where very few people going forward will accept to deputize anybody. Why? Once I support you and you are sent to power, you can do anything. Once you're in power, you forget that I helped you to ascend there, and now you turn the back against.
But isn't the currency of politics betrayal?
It's betrayal, but the idea... Accept it. Yes, we have been betrayed. The DP has been betrayed.
The currency of politics every single time is betrayal.
It's betrayal. It's betrayal.
Yes.
And
Who have betrayed who?
It has been consistent even with what has been happening in the opposition.
Why can't he
No.
run?
Hold on a
Why
minute.
can't he
I'm
go
dealing with
the
Wanjohi.
president?
Guys,
Wait a minute.
hold your horse.
We need to go back also to, I think, 2005, 2007, whereby those who were in government then, I think there was this time Odinga went down and penned an MOU with the core principles of NASA. And they did agree that in 2022, ODM will not have a candidate. But as the things are today, it's as if
ODM will still have a candidate.
will still have a candidate. So it's so unfortunate that in the 21st century, you're playing politics of betrayal, politics of deceit, politics of conmanship. It's so unfortunate.
You should go to the US and see how politics
but
of
you-
betrayal
but you
play.
see- but-
Wait a minute, I'm not done. So how would you respond to the question where I ask, there's nothing the president can do to salvage the image of this administration
After
while
calling
the
him a
deputy
conman.
president is there?
Calling him a conman.
Who called who the conman?
Well, it's too early to brand him a conman.
No, I'm asking, no, watch out, conmanship. Don't be swayed by Kamau. I've
the
asked
words
you a
of-
question.
Yes.
There's nothing the president can do at this point to salvage the image of his administration, as it were?
The two have come a long way. Since 2002, 2005 in ODM, and 2007 serving together in government, 2013 to today. I think they share something, and they are quote unquote best of friends.
Yes.
From where I sit.
But the one you refer as conmanship and the betrayal, you are directing it to the president. You think he doesn't?
He didn't use the word conman. He said betrayal.
Conmanship. He said.
He talked about conmanship.
Yes,
I did.
Oh, you used the word conmanship?
I did.
Wow.
I did. And basically what I was trying to do is to kind of take it to the doorstep of the president.
So can the conman get saved?
And advise him not to go that route.
But you see,
You already called him.
you see,
So if you already called him a con, do you believe there's saving grace?
There is.
After calling.
No, the president so far.
you see,
No, the president has not gone back to his words on kumi yangu, kumi yake. He has not. I've not heard the president saying that I will not support this man.
What about the conmanship?
Were you there when the
So what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to do today.
Withdraw the
Hold on a
conmanship.
minute. Hold on a minute.
I will not
I think
withdraw.
it's his right to believe.
Yes,
whether
these are
he's a
my
conman or
opinions,
not.
and I will stick to them. What I'm trying to say today, I'm trying to advise the president not to go that direction
Okay.
of deceit, betrayal, and conmanship.
So you think he can salvage his
Yes.
administration?
Yes.
Maina Kamunya, specifically, you're not responding to Wanjohi, you're responding to my question.
Of course.
Is it possible for the president to salvage his administration at this point? And when I'm talking about salvaging his administration, I'm talking about bridging the existential gaps in terms of the differences in ideas between him and his deputy.
I think there's nothing lost so far.
There's nothing lost.
There's nothing lost in the whole administration. Nothing lost. Nothing. That's one. Two, the DP and the president are friends, right? They differ when it comes to interest.
Perfect.
Right together. So it may shock you that maybe they talked last night. You don't know. Raila Odinga and the president have been in the, I think 10 years, They have been parting ways, but they still call each other brothers.
And family friends, actually.
And family friends, actually. You see, what I'm saying is, whether Ruto is in the government or is out of government, Uhuru have not lost anything. Are we together? So what there is here is just
let me explain to you very quickly.
Please do.
Never before have we had a dysfunctional cabinet like the one President Uhuru Kenyatta is presiding over. And it doesn't matter whether you have one element or two that are not reading from the same script as you.
It's
of course, we
only
know the deputy president is one of the persons who is probably reading from a different script, and he has several ministers that are.
You see. Sometimes we beg to not to try and understand things. The DP is the principal assistant to the
Of the
president.
president, yes.
Right, the point. Okay, he may have his brigade in the cabinet, but I'm sure we are not yet where Kibaki was in the coalition government.
True.
You get the point? Where Raila would complain about everything, but Kibaki was able to do Varigase despite Raila complaining. Don't forget that. This Thika Road was built when Raila was still complaining, and it was done and completed. The Mau Road will be done, deputy president complaining, and it will be finished. You get the point? So what I'm saying is, the DP can complain.
Nothing about the deputy president's actions should distract the president.
It will not hinder development agenda.
So why do you want him
the only thing is, he's preparing people, because what we are saying is, when you go to Harare on a Wednesday and you find a stadium is full to its capacity, it should worry you as a reader. You mean all these guys cross their jobs to come here?
Yes.
You get the point. So what the amount of
And when did this
just a minute,
funny moment
just a
come?
minute. The amount of tax that was to be collected on that particular day for development,
obviously, yes.
it will be lost. So what we are saying is, if you do those such rallies, each and every day, you do one in Kiambu, you do one in Murang'a, you do one in Nyamira, you do one in Mombasa, collected in a week, we have lost maybe 2 billion tax. So what we are doing, we are sabotaging the government's agenda of development. So, but if you are doing rallies, right, in every weekend, go do on a Sunday, especially on a Sunday, because people are
I
not
saw you
working.
in a BBI meeting.
Yeah, of course.
Several, actually, youth from across the country. How much taxes did you deny the government that day?
How many are we?
No, I irrespective of the number, how many taxes
We did
you
it.
deny the government?
We did it on a weekend. You get the point. And what we did, we delegated our jobs. Just a minute. But when you go to Harare, just a minute. Allow me to finish.
Okay.
When you go to Harare in Nyamira, you find the mama boga was there. Jamaa bodaboda so hakubeba. Mama akacha kahawa akakuja mkutano. Jamaa bodaboda hakubeba akakuja kaka bodaboda parking. So ule jamaa anauza petrol hapo, hiyo siku hakuuza.
It's good you've talked. It's good.
I'm saying,
hold on a minute.
this guy is sabotaging the government economic agenda.
What you're doing, and I don't know whether I would call it clinical amnesia or what this is. You are a supporter of BBI, right?
Yes.
Of course.
Now you said you're the elected chairman.
Yeah. Yes.
There was a meeting in Kinoru just before COVID came. In fact, were it not for COVID, surely would be having this meeting.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't think the Kinoru meetings, the Kisii Stadium meetings were denying government taxes?
Kinoru was
Just a minute. They were done on a weekend. The point I'm making here is the DP was to be in Nyamira yesterday. When was it?
Yes.
Thursday.
Yes.
So on Tuesday he had another meeting in Karen. So all these people each and every day you are denying them an opportunity to work.
So the meeting
What we are
at
saying
Keno
is
on Sunday was sabotaging what economy?
you see, when you do a meeting on a weekend or on a Sunday, we are sure that most of people work on weekdays.
No.
Just a minute. You see,
Hold on, let's see.
what I'm saying is the majority of the people, maziwa nini na kahawa zinachunwa katikati ya wiki. When it comes to a weekend, they relax. So even if you call for Harare,
there's something I want to understand from you. So if the deputy president does his meetings on Saturdays and Sundays,
yes,
you'll not have a problem with that.
And they be done within confined within.
Now you have another condition.
No. That's what I say, because you have seen previously every rally he conduct. Kuna maandamano, kuna furugu, kuna vifo.
Are you sure it's every rally?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Be factual. It's not every rally.
It's every rally. Can I confirm?
Yeah.
He was in Kisii just the other day. What happened there? We lost a life, right? There was violence. Wanachoma tairi kwa barabara. Kuja hapa Murang'a, what happened? So
are you aware there were two other previously in Kajiado? Were there chaos?
Kajiado, no, there was no chaos.
But you say
the BBI,
he blocked.
No, hold on a minute.
He broke roads.
Actually, I was on that entourage, and he blocked my car.
Oh, he blocked your
And
car.
I told
Hold on a
those
minute.
security guys, I am not moving. We are going.
Kamau, there's a point that Kamunya made, and if you allow it to go, it's a very dangerous comment you made. Said every political rally he holds is chaotic. Is chaotic. And you mentioned the Kisii rally, which I agree had chaos. Even in Murang'a, had chaos. But are you aware he has done another 2 political meetings in Kajiado that didn't have chaos?
Kajiado when?
Really?
When just I remember when to attend.
You said you can account
yes,
for all
I can
meetings
account.
that had chaos.
So
you don't know the Kajiado meeting?
What happened in Kajiado, he was telling us that the government is planning to rig election through Huduma number, right?
Okay.
So what are you preparing Kenya for?
Chaos.
So those were preparation for chaos.
Chaos. That's what I'm saying. Everywhere he goes, he seems to be a threat to the security.
Actually, the right words is
when you go to Kajiado and tell Kenyans, the government is preparing to rig election 2 years through Huduma number. What are you telling Kenyans? I must be prepared that my vote will not count. If I vote, Raila Odinga will not count. And I'm sure that we can't allow the country to go that direction. And that's why.
Just come here. I want to ask this to all viewers and whoever is listening to us and has ever listened to us. Have any one of you met someone who has been given a mkokoteni, a wheelbarrow, and is working on it? We've not seen those photos. Where are these mkokotenis and these wheelbarrows taken to? Because we could be seeing signs of development. After you've been given a mkokoteni, when you'll be given a mkokoteni, we will see you in the Wakulima market saying, this I was given by...
Even Kamau even
No.
Kamau.
No. I will continue with your point. It's very interesting.
I've finished. Have you met any?
It's a very interesting point you're making.
Where do these mikokoteni, these wheelbarrows, and these funny things are given? Who has evidence of someone we can go with our camera today and say, this thing I was given by Deputy President? The reason, Jaguar said, these people are, these mikokoteni and wheelbarrows are being recycled here and they are not beneficial to my people. And Jaguar is the MP for Starehe. So he's not seeing these mikokotenis where they're supposed to be. Why are you being lied by him?
And I remember Jaguar was a Takatanga brigade.
He said, the reason why I left the Takatanga, because this kokoteni, these wheelbarrows, when they are saying they're given to my constituents, they don't reach where they're supposed to be.
Tanga Brigade, do you want to respond?
He can't. You have no idea.
The thing is, we cannot come here and assume that all the people who have been attending these meetings in Karen and elsewhere
Yes.
have been kind of in a stage managed play to kind of act as if they're being given something and then go home in an empty stomach with nothing with them. We cannot go that direction. Yes. What I would advise my Kieleweke counterparts here, why not come with your own narrative that will counter the
It's already there. It's already there. It's already there.
It's
already there.
Because I'm going to give you a seat. 1 minute. Wanjohi.
Yes.
Let me tell you one of the mistakes you're doing, and that is backwardness thinking. When you start saying that, why can't you come with viewers? That one, it is when people didn't even go to school, didn't have land, didn't have anything to do. That is lazy thinking. When you tell me, why can't you come with viewers? In fact, that is an insult. And that is why Kenya said, this insult that is going to social media, we are going to stop it. Okay. Why do I say that?
Make it
There's
point,
Wajohi. The moment you start saying, I've given a wheelbarrow, why can't you give what you have? It is backwardness, my brother.
Of course.
Leave that mind, and Kamunya, I'm going to give you my seat. Wherever I'll be, you're going
I'm
to
very
sit
glad
next to me.
Make your point, Wanjohi, very quickly. Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
And it's very unfortunate that they want me to come to their line of thinking.
There's nobody here who is interested in you decamping. Make your point.
Nobody interested in you.
The thing is, if the DP feels with his team that the best way they can help the young people is by giving them incubators, motorbikes, car wash machine, let them do it.
Do you have
Let me-
evidence?
No, 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 no,
Come out. You asked him,
wait
does
a
he have anyone he
Wait a
knows
minute.
who has a
I didn't ask
hotel?
him.
You
I
did.
didn't ask him that.
You did.
You're the one who was raising that. I didn't ask
Yes,
him
and
that.
does he have someone who went and took photos with a wheelbarrow and went home without a wheelbarrow?
Did you see them being
No, no,
transported?
no, no,
When
no.
you're given away.
You see,
Gentlemen,
okay.
do you want us to discuss Kieleweke in Tangatanga?
No, I'm saying this, JJ.
Yes.
Just a minute, and maybe I have no problem with giving Hurbaro or Mikokoteni.
Yes.
I have no problem with that. The point is, do you have any precedents of any country in the world that have taken that initiative to develop their youth? None. Well, if you read the Vision 2030, right? Where were we trying to get our presidents to guide our economic growth?
Okay.
Asian countries, Singapore. You get the point? How do they grow? But today, that government is sitting on a platform, given that economic agenda by President Mwai Kibaki to implement, but they're giving us wheelbarrow. Just a minute. The second thing, I'm sure the government have initiative. I know under the Ministry of Youth and something, Scobia, they have this initiative that every graduate they can give you an intern of 1 year and they pay you 15,000. You get the point. So that what you have run as a theory, then you come and do it practically. So when you are given that platform to show your skills for 1 year, then after you leave here, you are given a certificate. I think you are more empowered.
And so the government
is
assumes
doing
that everybody is technically endowed.
No, I'm saying this. The government have done
Because there's something I want you, Kamunye, to do before you start stuttering. What is the alternative blueprint of economic empowerment, particularly for the youth, that is available right now, that you would say is being fully implemented, and what the deputy president is doing is absolute backwardness?
Hold
Just a minute. You see, JJ,
Yes.
we are in a digital era.
Yeah.
We are talking today, there are people with just a laptop who are earning 4,000 per day.
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
There's somebody who can make just use of the phone. You are distributing clothes and whatever, even in the supermarket, where just you are home, just that phone. How much do you give a graduate a wheelbarrow? You get the point? We are heading to a digital era. Then you are getting a young person from the University of
So is everybody a graduate, Smaina Kamunye?
They are not, but giving just a minute, giving them
You will get to time.
a wheelbarrow
Yes.
is not the best for now. Even if I was proposed to the deputy president, I would tell him this way: build resource centers. You get, come together, right? Build a hall like this. You get, equip the computers there. Allow the young people come. Let them do those online jobs and whatever. They will earn more than they can do with those wheelbarrows.
Okay.
You get the point.
All right.
They'll be more powerful economically than wheelbarrows.
Okay.
JJ,
Come on.
uh,
And we're about to wind up very quickly.
as we wind up, we've bought this story of chicken seller, where he was selling chicken, but after selling chicken, we are not told about this whole circle of him being the deputy president. Now he has taken this chicken selling and mkokoteni, he's trying to join here. Why can he, deputy president, tell us after selling this chicken?
He never sold chicken.
He never sold chickens as he has been preaching.
on, guys.
He never
went
sold
to high
chicken.
school, Maina Kamunya. He went to high school, went to university, has done his PhD. Now he's a doctor.
He was an evangelist, not like
Yes,
chicken
exactly.
seller.
Now, in this particular set
Evangelism is a day job.
give me my time.
Evangelism is a day job.
You guys
He
give me
was
time.
he was an evangelist, not
Make your
a,
point.
No,
Make
give
your
me my
point.
time.
Maina
Kamunya.
Kamunya.
No,
Make your
Kamunya
point.
and JJ. This whole time of him getting to university and becoming the deputy president, why can't he tell us
What he
how
was doing?
he has been doing? Now he's telling about Mikokoteni, and he can't just go and incubate these students in universities, the students in high school, because that's where we are heading as the world.
Sure.
Instead, he's telling us, use your blood. Use your blood to carry a mkokoteni. Use your blood to carry your wheelbarrow and other stuff, so that you can be like me, who I never did that, but I'm the deputy president. Why would you buy that sentiment? So my point is this: young men, young ladies, because there is something that they are not telling us. And if you ask me how I developed myself, I was a garbage
There's
collector.
something
1
you
minute.
were asked by Wanjohi.
Yes.
And unfortunately you dismissed it. I don't know, as unschooled thinking.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I'm not entirely sure
Okay,
whether it's
ask the
unschooled
question.
thinking. And I have asked Maina Kamunya and he's not effectively responded to it.
Ask it.
This is the question of the alternative.
There is already
Alternative is what
JJ.
we are
Hold on a
talking
minute.
to. Alternative is what we are talking about. We've seen the Ministry of Education through the TVETs to the young people. Show them how to use a welder to make this thing. Show them how to use a wheelbarrow to make this thing. Take them back to be tailors.
So do TVETs provide these
Let me tell
wheelbarrows
you where the
and
market
welding
is.
machines?
This shirt, this shirt you're wearing.
Yes.
If you give me today and you tell me I've empowered you, it is of no help.
It's a lie.
But if you take me to a tailor school, show me how to thread these things. Tomorrow I'll sell you 4 of you
Yes.
shirts.
And you make money.
That is what deputy president.
There's a point. There's a point I
He's
want to
actually
understand.
wants
There's a
to
point I
use-
want to understand.
Why
from you.
would
And I'm not defending the deputy president.
why
very
would-
quickly.
no.
Very quickly. Respond
Why-
to this
why-
question.
okay.
You've talked about TVETs.
Yes.
And it's actually a policy of this government, President Uhuru Kenyatta specifically.
don't
the
put
whole
Ruto
point of
there.
TVETs.
Yes.
I've not put
Okay.
Ruto. I've
Yes.
said President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Uhuru Kenyatta,
specifically.
yes.
The idea of TVETs is his.
Yes.
So once you get this technical training, what happens next?
When you get this technical training, the world, Africa as it is as a map, is a large market. And that's where deputy president, wait, don't interrupt. That is where deputy president started with the it's what the plane what the where he used to go to other countries.
Let me
And he
give-
was, wait a minute, wait, let me finish that one. Because he took a plane, hired a plane, went through Africa, checking where market is. Kenya is not to consume what you've made. Let's make Mikokoteni, we take them to Gambia. Why do we
JJ.
want to tell ourselves
JJ,
with
this-
blood?
JJ,
take it to
JJ,
wherever?
hold on,
Wait a
hold on,
minute.
hold on.
Because when you make these threads,
Yes.
we will take them to South Africa, we'll take to wherever. When we have the
There's a
technology.
question you're avoiding
No,
to,
no, no,
to
I-
answer.
I want-
Don't
I-
tell me.
I-
No,
I want-
no,
I want
hold
to-
on. So that responds to my question. Once you go to a TVET, and this is where I want us to come to an understanding.
Yes.
You're taught welding, so
Yes.
you say,
Yes.
or carpentry,
Yes.
or anything.
Yes.
That's a skill you have.
Yes.
Once you graduate,
I want to
Yes.
ask that
hold on a
question.
minute. If you don't have that welding machine, what happened?
No, you see, I want to ask
This
that-
is the point. No,
that-
what-
with
this
the
is my
with the
question.
practical
No, let
evidence.
him respond to the question. You
Let me tell
respond.
Respond, come on.
I'll take an example of
Yes.
a carpenter. I'm building a house right now.
Yes.
I need a carpenter, I need a plumber, I need a mason in me. I go through the whole place and I cannot get a plumber, a mason or something. When you go through this particular training, Kamau, JJ, Wanjohi and Kamunya and any other will be fighting for your service and technicality. Okay? But now, if you give someone a wheelbarrow, okay? If you give someone a mkokoteni, are you telling this guy he will use his blood to become a deputy president? That is the question you're asking.
JJ, I don't want to give
no,
you a
I-
a practical
let me come in,
example.
let me come in.
Just,
No, let him give us the practical example.
you see, I can't remember the exact year, but I can remember the details. There was this time that when we
And very quickly, I've run out of time.
so
completely. Yes.
when we were doing the TVET things,
Yes.
and the government of Canada came to Kenya, and they requested for 16,000 technical people from machinery, from plumbing, from all those stuffs. Do you know we couldn't get them from Canada? They wanted 16,000. I remember And I remember there was a time, and even Zach, when he was appointed the CAC, he cited that example somewhere, why they want to equip the TVET institutions. You see, the market is there, outside there. And that's why we know as Kenya, if we're able to equip our young people with skills, then the responsibility of the government would be, look for this market. The second thing, you see, and I wrote this document to the county government of Kiambu, and I told them this, ensure that every polytechnic we have or technical school we have, make sure that you equip the young people with these skills. Give them, ensure that even if these guys coming to do prabbing, make sure that he acquires a driving license when he's still there. Make sure that he becomes computer literate when he's still there. If you equip any young person with those 3 skills, he have his own, maybe machinery, but he can be able to drive, he have a license, then he is computer literate. That person, just using a smartphone, we are doing Uber nowadays, right? If I've done prabbing, we can create a site within Juja, within Kiambu, that anybody who want a prabbing services, he can just, the way we do with Uber, you do just it, and you
I get your point. I want to wind up. But I want to, with your example, very quickly, because I think we're just getting lost in semantics.
But if
hold on a minute. You talked about like driving, for example, as a skill. So, of what use is a driver who graduates from a school, and we are targeting self-empowerment or employment? Of what use is a driver who can drive but doesn't have a car to drive?
Who will give him a car?
No.
Who will give him a car?
Who will give a car?
No.
Of what use is a driver?
Who will give a car?
Who is a driver?
Cars? Who
has
gives
the
cars?
skills actually to drive.
Who gives cars?
But doesn't have a car to drive.
Who
But
gives
you see,
cars?
but you see,
Kamunya, who gives cars?
allow me to answer this question, because I think I made myself very clear. I said those 3 cars.
No, I just picked one skill.
You picked one
Yes.
skill.
Yes.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
respond to that.
What to get a car, not
Let
to
me
give
give you
a
another
car.
example. For example, plumbing. Of what use is a person who has the knowledge as a plumber? You want them to self-empower or self-employ themselves, but they don't have the tools to do plumbing.
Get an employment and get a loan. Buy the
Come on,
tools that you need.
allow me to finish. Nowadays, I'm giving a practical example. Nowadays, if you go to look for a driver, there's something else they are looking for. That bit of being, you can mechanic that car. Get the point? You have your product outside there. You just don't look for a driver. You look for somebody who knows. Even if it goes to maybe.
Kamunya, please.
I don't need to make my
question.
I'm saying,
answer my question. I've asked you a very simple question, because the point of departure here is what the deputy president is giving vis-a-vis what
No,
he's
he's
supposed
doing
to do
bad.
in
He's
terms
doing
of
bad.
skills. And I agree,
He's
and
not
you have a
doing
good
okay.
opinion in terms of whether he's doing bad or good. And I'm asking here, is it that the deputy president is jumping the gun in the sense that he's providing tools but not skills? Because I'm asking you, if you're a driver who has graduated from a driving school, courtesy of skills of the Ruto vets, or you're a plumber, but don't have tools, yet the agenda of the government is for you to self-empower yourself.
let me ask you a question. Which TVET school do you go to be trained how to drive a mkokoteni or a wheelbarrow?
Yes.
There's none.
What
Yes.
skill?
If the DP is going to Moranga Tech, you can call those young people who have done national, give them the prabrain and whatever. That
So you're saying those are the only things the deputy president is giving?
No, I'm saying
Yes.
the giving of
We've
wheelbarrow,
not seen him
wheelbarrow,
give
wheelbarrow
anything
and
else.
just a minute. Wheelbarrow and mikokoteni.
That
It's
is
just
amnesia. You've not seen him give
It's,
something else?
what is doing
Okay.
is brainwashing these young people to poverty.
No, I'm asking you a question. Are those the only things he's giving out?
He's just
Mkokotenis and
wheelbarrow and mkokoteni.
only?
Tank, water tank. If you are given a water tank to a person who does not know how to do urban farming,
I thought I saw salon machines in some
To
meetings.
yes, how many?
Do you have an evidence of
Evidence
person
of
who has
one.
received
Come
one?
on, come on.
No, or you want
Be
the
honest.
evidence of a person who was...
You're telling us.
No,
you've
I
seen.
saw pictures.
You saw,
just
but
like you saw.
where was it
Mkokoteni.
taken? Or it was taken back to the store?
Those salon materials are just for display. You get the point?
No.
They are just there for display.
yeah.
That is
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Let me have the last one.
Yes.
What the DP has been passionate about TVET, and for the last 7 years, he has been going around the country launching TVET to an extent whereby
Budgeted.
the president halted some of these launched projects until most of them were completed. The CAS of for education, Zach, was the other day on record claiming that the TVET churned out over 400,000 graduates from the TVETs. But these people have been empowered, they have the skills, but they lack the tools.
Of course.
And here now comes in the DP to give the tools.
Wheelbarrow.
These wheelbarrows and mikokoteni that the DP is giving out
You are joking.
are being used in the markets. They are being used by mama mbogas. They are being used by people who used to carry
So somebody who
luggage.
so somebody
on
who
back.
Kamunya,
And it's very sad that Kamau did say that the DP is encouraging people to go into manual labor. But when I was coming to this show, I did see graduates in kazi mtaani slashing. What were they using? Sweat and blood.
Because they are given money, they are paid. But we are talking of a graduate here who have done.
Maina Kamunya, I suggest you take this weekend to pray for yourself. So Wajohi, so he's Kamal.
No, we are not going to pray for
this
ourselves.
country.
No,
and pray for those
for one,
leadership
for
because
one.
time
JJ,
is up. Thank you very much for watching Taifa Dialogue.
JJ,
Have yourself a good afternoon.
I think and I hope
Time is up.
we've educated
Time
the young
is up.
people
Time is up.
that they should not